Welcome to Running is Bullshit. I'm Stewart.
And I'm Amy, and you're listening to the podcast that loves to hate running. This is episode 157, and this week we've got plenty of emails to get through, thank God. Including getting spat on, criticising straight people, good. The evergreen topic of race t-shirt sizing, and what is actually the difference between trail and a trail and a fell race? The answer will not surprise you.
Let's crack straight on with last episode.
Yes, your messages from last episode. First up, Matt Jazowski.
Leaving that.
Oh, I do not know. He says, I do not know if there are any clerics who listen to the podcast, but I can say with a good degree of certainty that there is at least one ex-monk who is a pod Patreon.
Oh!
An ex-monk? What happened?
Well, they probably started paying for this and they got booted out, but now I'm looking through that list wondering who looks a bit monkey. Who looks a bit monkish.
How did you divorce God? What happened? And Matt Garner confirmed that the nun at Parkrun did indeed run. And an episode of With Me Now was titled Park Nun in her honour. Amazing. The running nun. I love it.
A running nun. Who doesn't love that? Lisa Gibbon, now she let us know that we have met twice. I knew as soon as I said the other week that, I don't know if we have met, she'll probably let me know. And yeah, we have twice. She said at Grangemore Parkrun, you shouted Dolly or Bev at me. That's a With Me Now thing. Don't worry about that. She said, I didn't know it was you until I asked who it was on Facebook later that day, and I was gutted I'd not met you. Then at a With Me Now powwow, I nervously approached and awkwardly asked if you were Stewart. You said you were, and I told you I liked the pod, before clumsily walking away again. I still cringe when I think of it now. Well, this is probably why I've repressed these memories. In my defence, they were 3 and then 6 years ago, so that's a very long time. I mean, Lisa remembered, so perhaps I should have done as well. I'm really sorry.
What is a With Me Now powwow?
Just a meet-up, just because it rhymes.
Okay.
Why not?
I see. Yeah.
See, that's the kind of thing we would do if we liked people.
Yeah, and I left the house.
Yeah.
Sort of have to do that to meet people. Tea update. We're going through this really quick. We're just banging this one out, aren't we? We've partnered with Bird and Blend Tea. We have partnered with Bird and Blend Tea, which means we'll tell you what tea we're drinking. If you like the sound of that, you can go to runningsbs/tea, click the links and buy some tea if you want.
And I guess neither of us are drinking any tea because it's getting to that point of the year where it's just too warm in the evening to be drinking tea like a madman.
I know. I was in a bit of a rush as well, so I've just grabbed like a cherry Pepsi from the fridge. Other brands are available. I don't think I really want to be sponsored by Pepsi. I feel like you'd have to like kill a child or something to be sponsored by Pepsi, you know?
Possibly, yeah. Thinking about my tea collection this week, I was asked this week by someone who was poking through my tea cupboard, not a euphemism. She said, do you have anything that isn't sweet? And I looked through the 22 packets I had. I was like, nope. No, I realise I apparently very much have a sweet tooth. And yet these are all sweet teas in some way. I'm apparently a child.
Tea's already pretty like bitter, isn't it? You have the sweetness to even it out. It's a bit like coffee.
But like all the flavours I have are very kind of I've just got the whole packet of biscuit teas. I've got all the chais and they're all the sticky chais. They're all kind of sweet teas. Yeah, apparently that's my taste.
That's true. But I agree with that. I love a nice sweet fruity as well. A nice fruity tea too. Love that.
Very nice. Amy, what's your bullshit been this week? Let's go. Let's keep
go. Get through it. 10-minute episode. Not too much has happened as per. It was my birthday yesterday. Yay! Oh, yeah. So that's why we didn't record either. It was a Sunday as well, so I went on a nice birthday long run. Did that thing where I'm like, oh, let's try and make this a loop. It looks like I can make it a loop on the Strava heat map. Thought I was following the right part. I wasn't, and I ended up on an A road, like on an actual A road. Which it wasn't very far actually, but you know when something feels far, and also you're running a bit faster than you'd normally run because you're on a fucking A road. And even though it was quite early on a Sunday, there were quite a few cars. I can't even imagine if I tried to do that later on, because I was there at like, I'd say 7:30, 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning. But if I had done that later on, I think I would be dead. A lot of the cars were like properly moving around me. Like to the other side of the road, which I really appreciated. And the police went by as well and moved around me. I did think, are the police going to stop me and be like, you shouldn't be on this A road? But a few cars did get very close. You know, when you're sort of thinking, do I dive into a bush now, or do I just like play chicken with them and wait for them to move around? So yeah, it was one of those things. I thought there's a path that runs parallel, which actually I think was just like behind a bush or something, like behind a hedgerow. I thought I was on that path, and I thought this road's a bit weird. And I looked at the map, I zoomed all the way in, and that's when I saw like something like a load of numbers afterwards, but definitely an A road.
That's how you know.
Which, yeah. So nice birthday run, but it was almost my last birthday. Like that was it. I was nearly like some flowers at the side of the road. You know,
It's not like you to dramatise that kind of thing. But
no,
yeah, okay.
no, it was a bit hairy. That's the thing, isn't it? That's always the fear when you're doing runs that are out in the countryside a little bit. That quiet lane you're on, is it just going to end up on a dual carriageway? I mean, I wasn't on a dual carriageway. It wasn't that bad. But are you going to end up on some really busy road that's got a solid white line down the middle because everyone knows it's really fucking dangerous? And yeah, so that was my birthday run. It was a nice birthday run.
Yeah, you treated yourself.
I did. Treated myself to some mild peril. Anyway, what have you been up to?
Oh, Amy, we've talked about some absolute nonsense that I've done in this podcast. The silly things I've done. The obstacle course I thought I'd won. Turned out I didn't. The various other kind of small events that I've done quite well at. I finished first at a park run once because no one else went to it. Amy, I am a Welsh champion. I am genuinely a Welsh champion for the 3,000 metres in my age category.
Hey.
I also got a silver in the long jump, which I've never done before, and a bronze in the 1,500 metres. These are genuine national titles in the V40 category because no one turned up for them. You could equally also say I was last in each of those events. I was first out of one in the 3,000, second out of two in the long jump, third out of three in the 1,500. But you know what? You can only beat what's put in front of you. And I think it's extremely funny that I'm a national champion. I went with a friend, Chris, who is now also the Welsh 100, 200, 400 and 800 metre champion in the V35 category because no one else turned up. But again, what can you do? It's not his fault. He went there, he did the work, he did his best. And now he's got 4 gold medals, making him, in the space of about 6 hours, our club's highest ranking track athlete we have ever had.
Could you imagine if the Olympics was like that? You just got gold because no one else bothered to turn up, or
just on the start line, the heats, and like they're looking around. Oh, and in lane 4 is the runner from Mauritius, and seems to be the only one that's turned up. So he just like jogs around.
It reminds me of that. Have you seen that clip from the? I think it was the Winter Olympics. I don't know whether it was just a qualifier, when there was the speed skating and everyone else fell over apart from Australia, and Australia won.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, this is I think they've won a gold like that. Yeah, speed skating is mental, and they just take each other out, and a guy just like slides around the outside and like fuck you guys.
That's pretty much that is the metaphor.
But things like that. But that's the game, isn't it? Like, I think guessing something at speed skating, that's part of the game is stay on your feet. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the same as like in a way like trail running. Like, yeah, all those people got lost and you finished first, but like part of the game is you find your way. You know, that's navigation is a part of it. So
exactly.
So this is the Welsh Masters Championship, and as it was the Welsh Championships, it was held in England at a county championships for a county that doesn't exist. So athletics is in a good state in this area. So that was great. I can definitely recommend if anyone's fancies a bit of track and field in Wales and they're over 35, have a go at the Welsh Masters. It's a terrible website. Their communication is horrible. It's been over a week since the championship and they've made no post about it. There's nothing on the website, nothing on the Facebook page. But if you can figure out how to enter, I think you should do, because I've said this for a while, there's no opportunities for normal runners to do track and field. Because, there are open events, but if you look at the open events, like if you look at 3,000 metres in a standard open event, you have to run like 9 minutes or, probably less than that. Otherwise, you look like an absolute dick and you'll ruin the schedule for the rest of the day. A normal runner like me, plodding around, I think I did it in 12 minutes, which was actually slower than my 5K pace. There's no really other opportunities to do that kind of thing. And just have a go at long jump. Who gets to do long jump as an adult? It was great fun. I really enjoyed it. I feel like I did it quite well. I was expecting to be shit, but I think I did quite well. I I jumped 4 meters 19. I was like, fine. Because I got close to 4 meters like 4 times. And then when I finally got 4 meters, all the other people there were like, yay, well done. They were all rooting for me. That was very, very cute. I appreciated that. Then on Wednesday, I did track and field again because it's just that time of year. Why not? This time I did the 1500 meters, the shot put, the 800 meters, and the triple jump. It was a very long day. I had to drive to Nuneaton, which is 2.5 hours away, on my own, and I didn't know anyone there, and then I had to drive back. But highlight of that was the triple jump. I have wanted to do triple jump for 30 years. The first ever piece of athletics I watched on TV was Jonathan Edwards at the Gothenburg World Championships in 1995, where he jumped his 2 world records that are still incredible. I posted this on my, it happened to come up on my Instagram the other day, and I shared it to my story. And I've watched that jump possibly hundreds of times, and it just blows my mind every time. And I've wanted to do triple jump ever since. And I've finally done it, and I got less than half the distance Johnny did, which, is not surprising. You know what? The run-up was so hard for triple jump, because I did it right at the end of the day after everything else. I could not get the run-up right to get a decent jump in. And it was my 6th jump was my best, something like 8.5 meters, somewhere around there. But that wasn't a great run-up. So I just could not nail that. And as one of the women was like raking the pit as I landed, she's like, why is everyone doing these little pixie step run-ups? And I said, it's because I got no idea what I'm doing. That's why. I've not made, like, some of these people here are proper, and like they have a measured run-up, and you can see they've planned. They know how many strides is in their run-up. I was making shit up. I had no idea. To try and carry the speed through and then do 3 jumps. It's really fucking hard. But yeah, absolutely love that. So this is my track and field done for the year now, I think. Nice. 7 events in the space of 4 or 5 days. That was really good fun. But then on Sunday, I reckon this is going to be my favourite race of the year. I think at the end of the year, this is the one I'm going to look back on. The Wild Y swim run was absolutely amazing. It was a 7k run up the side of the Y from Chepstow into England, through like fields, roads, an old railway path, into a 1 kilometre long tunnel, which is almost pitch black.
Oh my god.
And it was lovely and cold in there as well, because it was really hot on the first part. Running through these roads, mostly in kind of just direct sunlight, really hot. In the tunnel, lovely and cold. You're not allowed to wear a head torch in there because there's bats, apparently. Never seen bats in there. I don't know where they are. I guess they're in the ventilation shafts or something. Yeah. But you don't see them. But then there are lights in there, but they're only about 2 feet high, about every 5 meters. So they're kind of very low lights. You can see the ground okay, but then above. So you're supposed to run on the left, but I just had this kind of fear that it was like sloping diagonal over my head, even though it's quite a tall, straight-sided tunnel. I couldn't see the corners. I couldn't see the roof. So I was kind of a bit scared of that. And it's just, at times, a bit creepy because you just kind of see the lights into the distance around like a long corner. And it feels like it might never end and you might be in a nightmare. And that just might be where you exist for the rest of time. Especially when you hear footsteps behind you a lot of the way as well. It's very creepy. But I really enjoyed that. Nice bit to cool down. Out the other side, more railway path, and then a little bit of trail. Guy overtook me. We got into a little bit of trail. And then for me, what I enjoyed there was I see the best sign that I can see in a race. It's not finish or anything like that. For me, the best sign I can see in a race is caution, uneven surface. Oh, yes, that is my time to shine. I am all over that because I know most people are going to be like, oh, uneven surface. Well, I'll slow down because that obviously means it's dangerous. I'm like, fuck you. That's the time I can make up some time. So I did. I just flew straight past this guy again. And then we got to the river crossing. I had to swim about 100 meters across the Y, which, if you know anything about the Y recently, it is basically in a lot of areas ecologically dead because it is so dirty.
Full of shit. Literally full of shit.
Well, I think it's more like farm runoff. It's kind of chemicals from farms. I think there's a lot of it. Yeah, there will be a lot of stuff dumped into it further up, and it had been raining a few days before. And also, it's tidal. It's extremely tidal, so it all washes up from the Bristol Channel as well. And so it was about high tide when I got there. There wasn't really much of a current. I seem to have timed it quite well. I thought there'd be like a bit of a brief that offer a buoyancy aid. And it was like swim hat on, and I stood there. The guy was on a little kind of inflatable ramp thing. He's like, right, shuffle down on your bum or just kind of walk in. I was like, okay, just no messing about then. Fine, I'll just jump in the river, I guess. Fine. And I had to really try then, because like usually when I swim, I'm all legs because I'm a runner. I've got no fucking arms. So I had to really try not to kick hard. That was really, really difficult. Just wearing shorts, vest and shoes. That's all I was in.
Are you running shoes, obviously? Like
just my running shoes. That's all I was. I had to, obviously, I couldn't take them off and throw them across or anything. So yeah, trying not to kick and just use my arms. Obviously, that's not that effective because my arms don't really do anything. And then you kind of get to the other side and there's really thick mud. And there's just a rope up. You have to just, like, they've tied knots in it. So you have to, like, drag yourself up the other side over some rocks on a rope. And then you kind of, right, there we go. Thank you very much, everyone. You get back on the road and you start to run. Like, legs are like, whoa, okay, my legs don't work. I've forgotten this. I haven't done one of these events in ages. You know, it's only a 100-meter swim. But I think I did it fairly quick. And then, yeah, legs just don't work for a little while. There was some water there and some Coke. That classic thing of like, oh, we've got some Coke for you there. I almost guarantee it's probably sugar-free Coke, because actually, as it turns out, apart from Coca-Cola, it's actually quite difficult to buy sugar Coke anymore, because everywhere is just sugar-free. So I don't know if they're doing that thing of like, oh, it'll kill any bacteria in your mouth. I'm like, don't think it will. Otherwise, I think they'll be pouring it in the river to probably help it. So I had to have a little walk there and a little kind of little rest. But again, it was lovely to be in the river because it was nice and cold on a hot day. Perfect, just what you need in the middle of a race. Managed to recover my legs a little bit. And then we hit some proper trails. This was like in a forest, like a barely perceivable path through the woods, just following a little bit of tape. And that's where I thought to myself, generally, I got to that, I was like, right, let's go hunting for triathletes. So I knew some of the lads ahead of me were in tri-suits. There were people taking it seriously.
Yeah.
I'd hoped this race would be the kind of race that no one else would take seriously and it would just be me. Everyone else would be there for a laugh and I might do well. But there are people in tri-suits. I'm like, oh, fucking hell, they're going to do better than me. But I thought, when we got to the trails, right, this is my territory now. They're in my house. So yeah, I did overtake one. The rest of them were too far ahead, but I had a good race against another guy. I finished 10th in the end. Big push on the trails. Some nice long downhills. Can really open up my legs. So I'm good at those kind of things. Everyone should do this race. That's my big takeaway. If you're anywhere near the area of Chepstow, the Wild Y Swim Run, I assume it'll be back next year. I really hope it is. There was only about 60 people this year. More people should do it. It was absolutely fantastic. Cannot recommend it enough.
It sounds horrific.
It's just not your kind of thing at all.
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
And you know, my first race where they gave me a towel at the end. I got my first race towel.
Oh, like that was the thing at the end. Like
I got a medal, but I got a towel, which is better than a t-shirt. 100%.
I like the idea. I think I'd do it just for the towel.
Bottle of Lucozade, banana.
You don't have to swim, do you? Either you can have like a little boat across.
I look on the start list at the beginning. They showed, you know, if you'd chosen swim or the ferry. One person had chosen the ferry.
Oh, well.
I hope they changed their mind when they got there. But the thing is, you could put yourself down to swim, and when you got there, you could stick your hand up and say, "Yeah, I want the ferry." They would have come and got you.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what's the point of doing that race if you're not going to swim?
Well,
what is the point? At least go in the water and let yourself be dragged across or something like that. You've got to get in the water.
Let somebody rescue you.
Yeah, that is the whole point of it. Oh yeah, it was really great fun. Love that race.
Good.
If you want to support me doing more mad races like that, you can go to patreon.com/runningisbullshit and donating money every month. In return, we'll sing your names in an increasingly farcical manner. Simon Lewis messaged to say, all this time, I thought the singing of the names was a shit idea. My worst part of the show. Turns out it's not. Amanda Murray Hines' Beastie Boys rendition was brilliant. Up your game, Stu and Amy. Well, no. Up your game too, Simon. Well, upping the game this week is one woman bullshit generator, Gabby Nair, singing everyone who donated to us this month. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not Gabby Nair. She had actual life things to deal with instead. But good news, I discovered Lou Baker is German, so here we go. Paul, Hibbert, Erin Shaw, Jay Howes, Julia Page, Mark Willis, Andy Nichols, Cat, Abigail Hardman, Rachel Bentley, Ivor Hewitt, Rachel Bullmore, Raymond Quinn, Drew Edwards, Jenny Tamasebi, Alice News to Brian Simpson, Jonathan Carter, Ian Hales, Andy Roberts, Lee Wood, Stuart Stevens, Angela Foster Swales, Matt Burrows, Martin Kaplan, Ruth Perkins, Miria Wicks, Ruth KP, Tony Howell, Cheryl Carrot, Claire Davis, Claire Averard, Victoria Cousins, Jesse Orski, Kiara Evans, HP. Amanda Murray, fine Nikki Genders, Tony Bates, Steve Peters, with my edit line, Liz Risley, Lisa Gibbs, Jerry Grubbs, Dave Yella, Mac Tito, Daniel Braun, Victoria Dick, Matt Caffin, Karen Blake, Abby Thomas, Nair, David Irwin, Ian Thompson, Nicky Jones, Jake Karen Hamilton, Gal Seal, Spencer Aldrich, Bollock, Adult, Elizabeth Shaban. Sandra Heinz, Penny Simpson, Cat Williams, Sophie Jacks, Bill Chard, Neverson, Bernadette McCarthy, Fergus, Anthony Howe, Cal Ryder, Graham Hackman, Alice, Sherry, Lachlan, Steve Robson, Debbie Hurley, Derry, AP, Len, Martin, Tom, McCoy, Victoria, Magnus, Jason Spinks, Kevin Scott, Matt H, Larry Warren, Rich Skirm, Tony Boyle, Matt Garner, Francis Howell, Erica Farris, Matt Jones, Neil Denton, Taryn Milligan, Claire Dina, Matt Newbury. The song just all sounds the same. It's really hard. Hopefully we have something for Gabby next week. Bye.
On to your messages. Don't forget to get in touch with your running bullshit on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just search Running is BS and let us know why you particularly hate running this week.
Rhea Eris got their BS buff from us this week, just in time to have missed running 42 miles along the Wales coast path, where they had the dubious honour of being stopped by the police to ask what they were doing.
When?
Tick that off. And this is in the daytime as well. It's not like a weird night race.
Yeah. Is this for the Vogum, right? I assume.
Yep.
42 miles. Why did the police stop you? Why do listeners do this? Okay, when you email us, you need to provide the context when you message
I think it was just to ask what they were doing. I think because there was a bit of mud and they were running through a field. But I'm like,
no.
you're on a public path. Perhaps they were just curious. They were just like, that person looks knackered. Fucking hell, what are they up to?
But it's the thing of like being stopped by the police. That sounds like it's a bit more serious.
But no, that's achievement unlocked. I'd love that.
Yeah.
I'd absolutely love that. Brilliant. Good for you.
Oh, God. Pontus Aidford? How do you say this?
I don't know. I was going to just give it to you then leave it in.
Fjord. Fjord. It's like fjord, like a Norwegian fjord, I guess, at the end. Aidfjord. That doesn't sound right. Got myself. Had another message from Pontus, and I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong. Aidfjord. That's probably not how you pronounce it, but I'm sure your first name's Pontus, unless that's pronounced some other way. Apologies in advance. So yeah, they said getting caught in a tree root and wrecking your foot 1/5 of the way into an ultra is BS. I'm pretty sure giving up was the right decision. This is how it looks after not running 50 plus kilometers. Yeah, that looks nasty. That looks like a trip to get an x-ray. Nasty.
Yeah, we've got a lovely photo of like a big bruise around a little toe. So right on the outside of the foot. It's nice to see where you're pushing off, because it's that weird thing of like you actually use your little toe a lot more than you think you do.
Yeah.
Like if you lose it for any reason, it's really difficult to walk again. So I imagine that's probably very sore.
Looks very painful. Thanks for that, Pontus.
Toria Dick says not finishing parkrun because husband decided to take a corner too fast and fell, hitting his head, knocking himself out and tearing a chunk out of the side of his face is BS. Yeah, I think we can give you that one. That's a very specific example, but yes, it is.
How fast was he taking that corner? Was he on a motorbike when he was taking the corner too fast? Like, why? There's all that. They've provided us pictures, and there's all that blood on the ground.
I love there's like photo of him holding his head, looking dazed, being carried away, and then just a photo of the blood on the floor.
I know. It's like the 3-act structure, and then like the aftermath, isn't it?
I hope someone had a bottle of water to like squirt that down a little bit so you don't disturb the rest of the runners. But yeah, that's pretty nasty.
Oh, that's mean. I'm not a fan of the sight of blood in person. Like stuff like this is fine. So I think if I saw all that blood on the floor, I'd be fainting next to him and ripping a chunk out of my face as well. That's absolutely gnarly.
Hope Mr. Dick is recovering well.
Yeah.
Well, be more sensible at parkrun, please.
Yeah. Don't go so fast. Slow down a bit. It's not a race.
This is just backing Amy up. Don't run fast. Don't go to parkrun.
No. The blood sacrifice must be made for parkrun. All right. Maluziki? That's not right, is it? Maluziki. I feel like that end bit, there is a different way to pronounce that. Maluziki. Malzicki? Do you know how to say this? He's got a normal first name, and then it all goes like Russian at the end. Malzicki.
I think probably Polish.
But yeah, or Polish, it's all the same, isn't it? Like, cut that. It's not all the same. Sorry. Simon M. Okay, I'm going to try. Simon Malzicki. Apologies. It's probably that's my best attempt. I'm really.
I've done this intentionally this week.
Oh yeah, I can tell. Simon says, I'm training for an ultra marathon, so ran 33 miles, no problem. Apart from my legs felt like shite. I mean, that's
pretty normal.
That's usually the problem. Yeah,
Be fine with that.
But then went to work and tripped over a floor mat and fucked up my arse cheek muscle, and now struggling to run 5k. That is fucking bullshit.
Arse cheek muscle.
You glue.
But we know exactly what you mean by arse cheek muscle.
It's always the way.
It's impressive to fuck that up by tripping over something.
Yeah.
It seems like a strange way to do a glute.
But that's the thing. It is the way. You'll do like all these training miles and stuff, and then you'll do something really, really silly and really hurt yourself. Like really.
So if you trip and twist, I guess it's like the muscle that tries to save you or something like that has to get strained too far, something like that.
Yeah, but you're always saved by your arse cheek muscle, so it's not good if it messes up.
We've done very well for emails this week, and none of them are 5,000 words. So well done, everyone, for that. Thank you very much.
Yes, yeah.
Amy, give us the first one.
Right.
You can round this one.
Andy Nichols. Thank you, Andy Nichols. Andy says, the last episode reminded me of two separate incidents while guide running with visually impaired athletes. One gentleman regularly asks if there is anyone on his right before he spits that direction. Oh, that's a recipe for disaster. All well and good until there is a strong wind and he spits on me. Brackets, yum. Oh, no.
Yum. Oh, what a choice.
The other related to running a 3k track race, like Stu's, there were very few participants, where one of the officials took a shot put to the head, stopping her taking part in the 3k a few minutes later and bumping the lady I guided up to silver as a result.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the dream, isn't it?
Yeah, get a shot put to the head and, for your opponent.
Sizing up the competition on the line, being, well, I'm guaranteed a medal here, lads, don't worry. Bang. Oh, no, quick, the medics. Yes, second place in the bag. Love that. I'll be well happy.
Nice.
Next email up from Caroline Parkinson. Hi, Amy and Stewart. I'm a 4'11" lady and have ordered extra small t-shirts and ladies' small t-shirts from large races on several occasions, but there always seems to be a problem with them. Extra small have run out at least twice at Manchester, even though you're given a wristband to be shown when you collect the t-shirt. At the Liverpool Rock and Roll, I got a man's t-shirt, took it back, but was told it was unisex. It had men's on the label. This year at London, the ladies' extra small ran out and we were invited to complete a form from a QR code at the expo. I did this twice. No t-shirt arrived. I got in touch to check when it was coming and had to fill in another form, which then said the ladies' extra small fit was out of stock. How can this be when we order in advance? This also happens to my similarly tiny friends. Like they do here with all her little tiny friends. Oh, I haven't got a t-shirt. No, me neither. I'm so angry.
I can't hold the pen to fill in the forms. It's so big. They all like stand on top of each other, all holding the pen to like fill in these massive forms. All like put them in an envelope and carry them to the post office, all in a line with it on their head. And then a gust of wind comes, they all like blow along like a big parachute. Like the borrowers. Sorry, carry on.
She said, would love to get a race director to explain why it's always the small ladies' t-shirts that run out and not the men's. Is it because they think we won't make a fuss? Can't hear you. I thought events were supposed to be inclusive. This is bullshit. Cheers from a tiny little lady who was very pissed off. I am 42. It's not like I'm going to grow.
Oh, I know that, like, yeah, because you're not a threat. Like, you're all kicking at their ankle going, give me that t-shirt.
The race director is there, like, with their clipboard looking over things. Then you say, what's that noise? Can anyone hear something? Sounds like a tiny little angry kitten or something, but never mind. They look around both ways. No, can't see anyone, so...
I know. And when you've had, like, a really hard shift in the mines and you've been living in a house with 6 other people and a giant lady, it's hard, isn't it? the energy to like, keep filling in all these endless forms for the giant people. I know it's difficult.
But yeah, I love the fact that, unisex t-shirts, no, those are always men's t-shirts. It's funny how they never give women's t-shirts as unisex.
No.
It's just the square men's ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just, it's not hard, is it? Just check how many people you got signed up, over order. Like, the thing is as well, like, if you order too many, you can donate them to charity or whatever. I don't know. It'll just stop giving t-shirts out at races. Who needs more t-shirts?
I would love a race to have only women's fit t-shirts and give them out as unisex. I would love that.
Yes.
Imagine the complaints.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, definitely. Yep. Right. A trauma dump from Claire Allison. Oh, I love a good trauma dump. She says, "Hello, Amy and Stewart. I expect you've been waiting for an update on my momentous decision to stop running. Forever." Is an update? I can't remember this. Is this an update on something that we've heard
as we've
before?
determined, we remember anything that's ever happened to us.
Thank
But
you
yes, of course, we've been waiting for this. Thank goodness, Claire.
I haven't been able to sleep, so
We've been worried.
So, I kept it up for a few weeks, but cracked when I realised that the pain of parkrun would be over quicker if I ran a bit. Oh, I do remember this now. Were you walking parkrun? Was this Claire? I seem to remember, maybe it was a fever dream that you were walking parkrun, but yeah. Anyway, I've been listening whilst driving to Stansted, and my boyfriend said that you, Stuart, have a very good singing voice.
Yes!
I couldn't comment on Amy's, as the next episode was Ivor Hewitt's turn. I thought you meant, like, no comment. When you asked him, he was like, no comment.
That'd be fair.
Who incidentally sounds like Stuart Bravo.
Yeah, a few people said that. I didn't hear it myself. I think I was much better.
I have no running bullshit to report, but I did get a tick in Richmond Park, and a patient smacked me on the bum, both of which outraged me. What?
Thanks for letting us know, I guess.
Lastly, I had a request for money from someone taking part in the 10-kilometre marathon in Uganda. I was so rationally angry that they considered 10 kilometres to be a marathon that I refused to donate. I will endeavour to update you again on my running/non-running decision. Best wishes for the future. That sounds mildly threatening, Claire. Okay, Claire, there's a lot to unpack there.
There's a lot there. We'll start at the end. A 10-kilometre marathon in Uganda, and you're asking for money? I assume you're like raising money for charity for you going on holiday to Uganda to run a 10k? Piss off.
I think so. Unless they mean like somebody they know is in Uganda doing a 10k marathon.
Even so, collecting money from an experienced runner for a 10k? No, not on.
No,
not
it's
on.
like those people, I think we talked about it before, who do races really regularly and they always ask for donations to charity. I don't mean like, of course, if you've done like a few marathons and you've asked for donations, but I mean like they do a lot of halves and 10k, and every time they run a race, basically they ask for a donation. Like, sure, I understand you're raising money for charity, but at the same time, we've only got so much money we can donate, you know?
Yeah, this is just your hobby. It's not like an extra...
Yeah.
You're doing a 10k when you're an experienced runner who's done marathons. You do a 10k, it's not really a challenge, is it? It's just your hobby.
Yeah. Yeah, like if it's something that is a challenge for you, like I know lots of people who are like run a lot but don't really run a lot of marathons, but they do the marathons and they raise money and they sort of update people while they're doing the training. I think that's absolutely fair enough because it's still a challenge for you. But if you're regularly running like marathons and doing them quick and all that sort of thing, no, why would we donate for that?
I still think more people should ask for money to say, yeah, I'm going to do a marathon, but I'm going to go for a PB, and then I could be like, you only get money if you get a PB.
Yeah.
You got to run hard. I want you to make an effort. I don't want you to go there and enjoy it. That's not what it's about. Make it a real challenge. Another email from Laura Hanscom this time says, "Hi, Stuart and Amy. Love the show. I found you when Googling Pin Skin Man a while ago and every episode makes me laugh." Oh, Pin Skin Man. However, I did take slight offence at your criticism in the last episode of people who run on straight roads. I live in the middle of nowhere in the north of Western Australia, 20 kilometres from the nearest town. Sounds like a dream for Amy. The only road to that town is a dead straight one. Oh, perhaps not then. Although there are some boring bush tracks near my house, I could run on the beach if I get in the car and drive for 20 minutes. If I want to get a quick run done early in the morning, the straight road option always wins. I just run to the end of my road, do 3 kilometres up the dead straight road, stop at the Crocodile Park, brackets I live in Australia remember, take a terrible photo of the sunrise, and run back home again. all before I've woken up properly. No route planning or brain power required, except keeping an eye out for the occasional car. It's really not that horrendous.
I mean, yeah, I definitely see the appeal. I guess, like, I don't want to do that. But if I lived in
when
Australia...
it's literally your only choice, then, you know...
If I lived in Australia and there was, like, a crocodile park nearby, I'd stick to the road. Crocodile Park, then you take a left to the spider cave, and then Snake Alley. You know, you just stick to the main road, don't you?
Yeah, I think you probably just buy a treadmill.
Yeah.
She also said straight roads are great for intervals. Not everyone has access to a track, and a dead straight road with no traffic is the next best thing.
True.
However, my real confession is I am also that weirdo who occasionally does an out and back 30k run on the same dead straight road. Oh. I only do this run once towards the end of a marathon block, but it works a treat because if you know you can run 30k in the dark on a dead straight road, the last stretch of a marathon isn't that bad, even the bit where your watch has beeped at 42k and you can't see the finish.
I mean, the mental side of things, yeah, I guess it's good training.
She sent us some photos of a dead straight road and said she'd promised to write to us about something less boring next time. Wouldn't worry about that. We'll probably put it in anyway. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, it's a straight road.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
If you want to imagine that.
Can you imagine a straight road?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Like a road, but just straight one.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Stretching off to the horizon. We've had a question, oh God, from Dave Penn. He said, Dear Stewart and Amy, you have previously given a definitive ruling on how to tell if you did a walk or a hike. Did you take sandwiches or not? Mm-hmm. Clear and unambiguous. I like it.
Yep.
But how do I tell if I've done a trail run or a fell run? Oh. I'm going to be doing the Titsworth Reservoir 10k next month, and the route takes us up 2 big rocky hills and back down again. Elevation gain is 1,132 feet or 345 meters. But I face the dilemma of how to describe this race on Strava. Is it trail or fell? What is your ruling and why? Thanks, Dave.
Well, my first clue on that is the fact it's called the Titsworth Reservoir 10k. If it was a fell race, it would not have 10k in it because it wouldn't be an exact distance because no one would have bothered to measure it because they don't really care. Yeah. The main difference, I think this is a slightly boring answer. I think the main difference here, a trail run is generally all on mapped paths. A fell run would often be off path, or you can choose your own route. There is crossover between those. So some trail runs will go a little bit off path. Some fell runs I've done have been entirely on paths, but they're still considered fell runs for reasons I'm not quite fully sure why. But generally, that's a thing. If it's on a path or off a path, or in a fell run, usually there's a little bit of route choice in there as well somewhere.
I always imagine a fell run is like you're just told to run up a mountain or a hill and back down again.
Yeah, a lot of them are, but then I'm doing one, my big one for this summer is all on established paths. There is a little bit of, there are checkpoints on there, and there are, there is a little bit of route choice in between them, but not really any significant choice. But generally, that's kind of the difference. I think also a bit of a vibe thing. A fell run, if it's just like 2 blokes, a stopwatch and a clipboard, probably a fell run. Mm-hmm. If it's cost you like £6 and you don't get anything at the end, probably a fell run.
Yeah, or you just, you go to the pub afterwards and you get like
or it's based.
Or something.
It's entirely based in a pub. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or it's the kind of race where 2 people in a pub were having a weird conversation. That's where the race came from. Probably a fell run.
And I feel like for a fell run, I couldn't just rock up and just do the race as slow as I wanted. They'd be like, you need to get a move on. You need to stop taking pictures and get a move on. Whereas a trail run,
it's not really
it's not dilly dallying. Yeah, not dilly dallying in fell races.
Yeah, well, my impression with fell is not. You don't have to be quick. You don't have to be a fast runner, but you have to take it seriously. You don't. Yeah. You don't. You're not there for an Amy dilly dally. You're not taking photos, having a little sit down for a snack. They want you. They want you to race it. They want you to actually do your best. It doesn't matter what your best is, but they want you to do your best because that's the point of racing. That seems to be the vibe I get from it.
Mm-hmm. And that's not me. That's not me. If I can't dilly dally, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I
think we've answered. Well, it's not really like clear or unambiguous, is it? That answer.
As I said, no, there is crossover on both of those. So yeah, who knows?
Answer on a postcard for that one. The bullshit rant. News.
When's the last time you sent a postcard?
I don't know. Never. Not never. I have sent a postcard, but not for a long time.
Are they still a thing? I guess they are.
Yeah. Well, you can do like digital ones now. So where you take your pictures or whatever.
You can just text someone, can't you?
You could, but you can have like a digital postcard sent. You can make your own online. I can't remember.
Yeah,
TruePrint do them, I think. And then yeah.
Just WhatsApp someone. Just send them. You can send them like 60 photos.
I still buy postcards. I do like. Like the cool like vintage ones and stuff that places will do. I still like to buy those and like keep them.
I've got a wedge somewhere of like really shit postcards. So whenever I went somewhere, usually in the UK, I'd go to like the postcard thing and I'd buy the shittest one. You know, there'd be a photo of like the war memorial and a clock and the town sign and it'd be some horrible garish colours. I used to buy loads of those. I used to buy whatever the shittest postcard was. That was one I would go for. Anyway, the news, that bit we're doing now. Okay, first of all, no, we're not talking about the vicar cycling around with a cello because that's cycling and cycling can fuck off.
Oh.
It's just someone sitting down and they get into a church and sitting down again with a cello. Don't give a shit.
No.
This is much more our kind of thing. We've done this story at least 5 times before, but we'll do it again and we'll do it each time we see it. The headline, Buzzard leaves Shropshire runner bloodied and bruised after attack in the countryside. Horrible stories, but always funny because they happen to someone else. So this was Thomas Ryan was out running on Poynton Road near Shawbury when he was charged 4 times by what he believes was a buzzard. The attack left the 35-year-old with cuts to his head and ear and in need of first aid. The aerospace engineer, who ironically has an eagle tattoo across his chest, had to go to hospital to get a tetanus jab. Horrible. Can you imagine being attacked? How scary that would be to be attacked by a bird of prey and then like slashing your head up and not being able to see it coming from the next. Oh, horrible.
If you look at the pictures, it is pretty bad. Like
yeah,
pretty bad.
Because imagine like you're covering your head trying to stop a bit and just like knowing it's coming for you again. You can't hear it and there's nothing you can do about it. Horrible.
They should make a film about it. Call it like the Buzzards or something. You know?
Yeah, buzzards. That's a good title you've got there.
The
You've really nailed that so far.
And there's loads of buzzards and they all attack people. That would be a really good film.
Yeah, amazing. Get some work into that.
Yeah. I am always a bit cautious around birds and stuff. I have had seagulls dive on me before.
Oh yeah, that's normal, isn't it?
Like actually, like I felt like the wind like brushed through my hair from its wings. You know,
it's exciting.
So yeah, but yeah, I don't know what else there is to say about this. Should we go on to more important news?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh my goodness. So, this really made me laugh because the headline is it says, Sir Rod Stewart aims to break the 100-metre world record at 80. First impression
I assume he means the age category record, not the actual, he's not looking to run 9.57.
Well, yeah, so that's like the the headline, and then you read it and you think, oh no, it's the age categories. He is going for the age category.
Okay.
So at the moment he can do it in 19 seconds. Okay.
I mean that's not bad for 80, is it?
No. He's got his own private running track, as you might imagine.
Of course he does.
He does like underwater training, whatever that means, which apparently helps his vocals too. I'm like, what does that mean? The article is from Runner's World. It's just really bizarre. It's like, he does underwater training, which helps his his performances. I'm like, what? So he's putting a lot of work in, and he wants to get down to 17 seconds, which he thinks, he speculates in the article, will be the world record, which, spoiler alert, it's not. The world record is 14 seconds. So the story is, Rod Stewart wants to beat the world record for 100 metres in his age category. But doesn't know what it is. He's running 19 seconds at the moment, and he thinks if he can get down to 17 seconds, he should be fine, even though actually he needs to get down to below 14 seconds.
So he just thought, well, if I run a PB, well, that must be the world record. It can't be that quick.
Yeah.
It probably must be. I'm not going to check and see what it is.
Yeah, and he's doing his underwater training.
Yeah.
So whatever that means.
Is he going to knock 5 seconds off?
Probably not.
Oh. I'm going to go for it. I don't know what it is, but
I'll just do
can't be that quick.
Yeah.
14 seconds at 80 is impressive.
Yeah. That was this year. I think that world record was broken, but he's not. Surely Rod Stewart's not going to run it in 14 below 14 seconds.
Well,
That's
look,
mad.
we'll keep an eye on it, and as
Yeah.
soon as we know, you'll know. Don't worry.
Yep.
This is the big story we're following now.
Yes. Anyway, what's going to be your 100-meter PV? What's going to be your 100-meter PB next week?
Well, the segue didn't even work when you did it properly, did it?
I know.
God, no, sprinting is absolutely not my thing. I think me and Rod would have a decent race, actually, in 19 seconds. Unfortunately, banter race season has come to an end. Like the previous week of doing all these nonsense races is kind of over now, I think. Next thing I want to do, well, the next big race is this Brecon Beacons Fell race. Got that. So next week I'm going to go to the Black Mountains and do Cat's Back, because that's one of those fantastic ridges I've heard a lot about.
Yeah, because that's really funny you're doing that, because I saw a picture on some like visit somewhere, like a touristic
Wales,
camp.
probably?
No, it wasn't that. I can't remember where it was, but yeah, it was for the Cat's Back, and
Suffolk,
I saw
or...
loads of images of it, and I'm
Argentina?
like, that looks pretty cool. That looks pretty cool. Yeah,
it's one of those ones I've seen a lot about. I know everyone who goes there likes it. The Black Mountains is the new cool place for people to go, apparently. So I'm going to go and give that a go next week. Nice way to take a day off. Anything you're up to? No.
I have entered a race.
Hooray!
Yay. It's not till next year. No, it's a really cool race, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But it's
it's an Offa's Dyke one.
Yeah, it's an Offa's Dyke one, but I really like the sound of it, because you start from the northern point of Offa's Dyke, and you basically see how far you can get in 24 hours. So yeah, I really like the idea of that. You can walk it if you want, and if you walk it, I think you get to start a bit earlier. But yeah, there's checkpoints along the way, and obviously they have opening and closing points for each checkpoint. But you just see how far you can get in 24 hours. You have like a designated driver, then you have to enter with a designated driver who will come and pick you up when the 24 hours are up. Nice. But yeah, I just thought it was a really nice idea, because there's no pressure then, there's no sort of you've got to get to this point by this time and cut-offs and all that sort of thing. You just see how far you can get. So I'm really looking forward to that. I saw a few other people did it this year. It's in oh gosh, it's either April or May. I don't even know when it is. It's in April or May. I think it might be May. But I saw a few other people did it this year, and from the pictures they took, it just looked really nice. Looked absolutely stunning. So yeah, that's gonna be a good one. I'm gonna have to like train for running for 24 hours. That's gonna be the challenge for this one. I've never done anything that's 24 hours. I've obviously done. I think the longest I've ran for is 15 hours. So yeah, another 10 hours on top of that. I mean, obviously I'll have a designated driver, so if it's too tricky, I'll be able to sit in the back of the car and have a bit of a sleep, and carry on, because there's no sort of, it's just as far as you can get in 24 hours. But I would like to try and train to do it for 24 hours and see how far I can get continuously.
Take some sandwiches, call it a hike, you'll be fine.
Exactly. So yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that, whatever that race is, whatever the name is, whenever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
So is this another one of those races where you say it's just get as far as you want? So they set up the start line, they say go, and then they go home. And just wait for everyone to return the trackers. That's a good race to organise, isn't it?
Yeah. Like I said, they do have checkpoints, which is really good. There's quite a few.
Okay,
I think
fair enough.
the checkpoints are roughly 10 miles apart. Like some a little bit under, some a little bit over. So there's a fair few checkpoints along the way, which is nice.
Okay, they're doing something then. That's good.
Yeah, exactly. But I just like the idea of it, because I don't feel this. Sometimes when I'm training for stuff like this, I feel a lot of pressure to be fast, and it's nice to know I can just do it in my time and not have to stress about, they're gonna, when I get to checkpoint 2, they're gonna time me out or whatever, So yeah, really, really looking forward to that. And I guess as well, then you can sort of retire at any point, and you've just done that whatever distance you've done. If it gets to like, if I get 15 hours in and I think I actually can't continue, you just stop there, and that's how far you got in the 24-hour span.
Like my 24-hour race gave up after 11 because couldn't be asked.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so really looking forward to that. I quite like those sorts of races where it's just like an overall time, and you just see how far you can go. So
that's the thing. I found the difficult thing for me. Nina, who I did it with, because it was that 24-hour go as far as you can, the fact there was no finish line or no actual target, that's the thing that made it tricky for us. So that's just kind of something to bear in mind. Because the fact you might get to 11, 12 hours, feel like shit, and you think, I could just go home because there's actually nothing to gain. But I don't know if that... I don't know, perhaps you'll handle that better than I did.
Yeah, I'll probably have like a goal in mind, you know, and I know that I'm going to try and get accommodation that's like 40 to 50 miles away from the start, just so that, so I think I'll just have my own sort of goal in mind, probably try and go the furthest I've gone. So I think the furthest I've done is like 43 miles, so at least I'd like to get to 50 miles, you know.
That would be a podcast host record as well.
Okay, that's the goal. Yeah. I mean, that probably wouldn't take me 24 hours, it might take me like 20 in total, but yeah, I think that would be the goal then. 50 miles would be the goal.
Oh yeah, 76k is actually the furthest I've been, wherever that is.
Miles.
So that's actually 47 miles I've been.
Okay.
So that's your target. 47.2 miles is your target.
Okay. Right, okay. There we go then. We have a goal.
There we go. That's been set for whenever this race is and whatever it's called.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent.
Great. If you enjoyed this bullshit, please visit runningisbs.com to see the show notes and links for this episode and the whole back catalogue, as well as links to our Patreon, merch store, and social medias. Bye!
Bye!
You, Stewart, have a very good singing voice.